Welcome to the 2022 Gridiron New South Wales Opal Bowl. This was a season to remember post-COVID, new teams, washouts, 5-foot players, tight scorelines. It had it all this season. I am Alex Barker. I will be your commentator of this Opal Bowl, and I am joined by Beck Baldwin. Beck, this is going to be an interesting game. This is a repeat of the previous Opal Bowl we had between the North Sydney Rebels and the NSW Raiders. How do you feel about this game, and how do you think it's going to play out?
I am so excited to be here. Last Opal Bowl was one to remember. We had the double overtime for both these teams. It was an excitement to remember, and I feel like coming into this game, there is no winner yet until the game is played.
Raiders are 4 times Opal Bowl championships from 2015, 2016, 2017. And 2019. Rebels lost to the Lions in 2018, lost to the Raiders in 2019. 2020, they have the Opal Bowl win. They're looking to go back-to-back. These are experienced coaches coming into the Opal Bowl. Do you think that experience is going to come through this game?
I mean, if we look at this Rebels team and where they've come from and how they've built, they've had many Opal Bowl appearances and only the one win. To go back-to-back is a feat on its own. I think they can do it, but let's not underestimate the opponents that they're coming up against in the Raiders, who have multiple wins. They have much more experience in this position as winners. Like I said, anything could happen. Right now we're coming in toss. Let's see what happens.
If you're this toss, you win receive first, or are you going to kick first? Start the second half of the ball.
Ooh. I mean, for me, I'm all about momentum and starting the game hard and strong. So I want to start with the ball. I want to go on offense. I want to drive to score a touchdown. But let's listen, let's check in and see what is going to happen.
He's explaining what's happening. He's going to pull out his coin soon so we can get this game kicked off at 9. It is kicking off in 60 seconds. It's looking pretty good. I thought it was going to storm today, but as we always have on Saturday in football, the sun is shining and the coin is up in the air. So we will wait to see what decision is the Raiders have elected to receive.
By the looks of it, they're calling a receive. As the away team, they did get the call, so they've obviously won that toss. And they're showing their ends. There's not much wind today, so it's hard to pick which way you're going to go. Normally you kind of do the lick the finger, stick it in the air,
see which way
the wind blowing. But there isn't much going on, so it's kind of just your favorite end. 2 minutes till kickoff. Now, previously in the Opal Bowl that we've seen in 2020, the Raiders had gone undefeated throughout that season. They were the favourites to win, and the Rebels were the underdogs. They come in and show them what for with that double overtime and come out with the win. This season, it's kind of a swap positions where the Rebels have gone undefeated throughout the season. They are essentially the favourite team to win this, and the Rebels are the Raiders are the underdogs, which is going to be an interesting position for them.
Well, I think especially when they played each other in the regular season, Rebel came out on top, but only by 4 points. It was definitely a close game. So we're definitely in for some exciting football today. I think it's going to be close, but I'm excited for kickoff.
Yeah, bowl games are always they just hit different, right? Like, there's no other game but a bowl game. You can play regular season games and it not really mean much, but when it comes down to this is a do or die. This is go hard or go home.
100%. And as the players take the field to set up for kickoff, we are going to start this game in about 30 seconds. I mean, I'm nervous watching this game.
I'm nervous. I got a little bit of butterflies, which is unusual because I'm not even playing. And the butterflies for this game, intense.
Before they kick off, what are you saying as a captain? What are you saying as a coach? How can these two teams start off on a strong foot?
Oh, man. As a captain, you kind of want to reiterate to your players to do their job. Keep your head in the game. Let's not let the hype and the excitement of this game take over our play, what we do best, and just play for each other. It's supposed to be fun out there. Football is fun, so have some fun. Make some hits. Enjoy yourself.
We are getting ready to kick off. Alicia Rowe is their kicker. And here we go with the start of the 2022 Opal Bowl. She's kicked it. V's running it back. It's a good run. No one's hit her just yet. Oh, but she is taken down
by Alicia Rowe, the kicker, chasing the kick down the field to make the tackle on what looks like the 25-yard line is where they're going to start. 1st and 10 for the Raiders.
I would say that was probably about a 10-yard run. Not bad. Good kind of field positioning. When these last two teams played, it took about 3 drives for the Raiders to score. Do you think we'll see something similar today, or do you think that it's going to be a kind of a grudge match and they're going to have to really take their time to get down the field?
I think it's going to be a grudge match. Let's not underestimate this Rebels defense, who, you know, are quite capable of making some big stops and big tackles. We did mention in the pregame when we
had
were
the handoff, and the running back is running up the field. She gets hit just beyond the line of scrimmage for probably about a couple yards, and it brings up to 2nd down. Not a bad play. Got some yardage there. Both teams are heavy, so it's not interesting to see them running the ball straight out of the gate.
What we do love about this Rebels run game is that Lucy Gork has such a great cut on her and a great read. Oh, they're going empty backfield. We have seen this a couple of times in them.
Oh, it's quarterback keep with a block.
Great block.
She gets a couple yards. That's good contact.
Oh, not
good
quite
yards
the
after
first
contact.
Down, though.
Just shy. So that brings us up to 3rd down.
3rd and 2 we're seeing.
Are you running it on 3rd and 2, or are you looking to throw it back?
Oh, you know what? I think the defense is probably expecting run. It's short yardage, so you could throw them a bit with like a quick extend, maybe a little receiver screen, especially because their receivers do have good hands. Amanda, great quarterback, can throw the ball.
Going with their double backfield like they like to do when they are running plays, especially in the run game. Interested to see who gets it.
Yep. Running back down the middle. And it's a first down.
And they move, the Raiders get to move the chains by the looks of things. A little bit of a pileup. Takes a minute to get up sometimes, especially when you're running the ball and everyone's on top of you.
I feel like it takes me more than a minute, but by the time I'm up, the play is ready to go again. Guys are definitely trained on fitness. I guarantee that they have worked really hard to be fit for this game, to make sure that they can compete at all levels. They're going empty again in that trip set on the right side of the field. It's a pass.
Pass play. She's looking for outside at number 12. And it's a cut ball. And that is down at just past into Rebels territory. About the 28-yard line. Good catch. I mean, that was man-to-man defense. I'm surprised she put that ball in there.
It was good coverage.
Good
Alicia
movement
Rowe had it the whole way. She had front position. That's the experience from their quarterback, being able to throw the ball, lead the receiver into where she needs to catch it and position it so that the cornerback cannot make a play at it.
And that was a catch by their number 12, Cheyenne Dicker, who is one of their younger players and hasn't been in the league long, but she has made strides this season. What a catch.
Definitely been one to watch.
Definitely been one to watch. We have running back in the backfield as we set up for another set of downs. The handoff,
run down the middle.
Run down the middle. Oh, she's met at the line of scrimmage.
That's Brooke Mudridge, who's an Australian D lineman playing out at linebacker, but she's having some fun out there.
Oh, 100%. There's nothing worse than seeing her break through that line as you're running the ball. Sometimes it's just better to go down, I think, in that situation. But no gain there. We've gone 2nd and 10. So far, we're moving the ball.
We are moving the ball, but what we're seeing is it's taking them a few plays, and it's a deep drive to get down there. They're not just scoring off a broken play or a missed tackle. Like, they're really having to work for this drive.
One running back in the backfield as they look to snap the ball.
And
is
a
handoff.
Read.
Oh, and she is met at the line of scrimmage. That's Alicia Rowe
with a big hit. I think she's hurt herself on that one. She went down a little bit hard. She's back up, but nothing fusses her.
That is playoff football. We want to see the big hits. We want to see those big plays. Again, no gain. We are still looking at 3rd and I want to say 7, but it looks like a timeout has been called.
Timeout being called because, like I said, we haven't really seen these teams have to drive and do a lot of make a lot of plays to get down the field. They've really had to work for this one, and I bet you the coaches are just taking a time out to get their team settled, to give them a breather. Raiders really want to score on this drive. They do not want to turn the ball over this close to, you know, their end zone. They're very close to the red zone. What would you be saying to your team in this timeout as a defense? What do you want to look for? What are you anticipating?
Keep doing what they're doing. Right now, they're stopping that line. If I'm the defense, you know, they're breaking through that line and they're protecting them right now. They're getting through to the run. They're stopped. They haven't, so far, the most they've gained in this set of downs is 3 yards by the looks of things. So keep doing what you're doing. I think they just needed a little bit of a breather. It is getting a little warm out there, and on the turf, it gets just that little bit harder to play in, especially under all the gear. So I think that was a well-used timeout. We'll see if it pays off. One thing I do like about the Rebels is that they're always ready to go. They don't take too
100%.
long to get set up. They're always set and ready. They know what they're doing. So that's always fun to watch because they're just going to break out sometimes, just hit you where they need to. But empty backfield. Looks like we're going for a quarterback keep.
With a
She's
pulling
running with the
O-line.
outside, not getting much yardage. Looks like she was hit
defense.
at the line of scrimmage again for.
This defense is everywhere. They're so good at reading and anticipating what is going to happen. You can tell that they have watched Raiders film. They have scouted their offense. And it's brought up a 4th down and what looks to be about 6. So it's a 4th and I would say long.
Yeah, but 4th and manageable. I mean, one thing we have seen the Raiders, they do get beat on the outside. So it's nice to see the Rebels actually being able to contain that. We've seen Amanda be able to run that ball on the outside when she gets free. So for them to be able to keep meeting them at the line of scrimmage and to keep holding them to short yardage, I'd say that's a good start for their defense as the Rebels, and I'd be using that as momentum.
They're going for it on 4th down.
Ooh, penalty.
See those flags flying everywhere. They're more than one. What is the call? Maybe a false start?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he said delay of game potentially, maybe, and we're moving it back. It is on the offense. Maybe
they've gone back 5 yards. It's weird.
Well, now they're moving empty backfield. Looks like they're switching things up just a little bit on this play.
I'm anticipating pass on a 4th and long.
100%. Yep, she's in the
We've got
backfield. She's Rick's pulled up. She's that pass is batted down, and it is a turnover on downs. Good start from the Raiders. Excellent job on the Rebels defense, getting burned by that pass and then being able to pick it up, send the Raiders out without scoring. We now move over to the changeover where the Rebels will have the ball to start. Alia is in at quarterback.
Number 97 is ineligible and will remain that way for the entirety of the game.
So we have the Rebels starting on their 30-yard line, 1st and 10, and we're seeing Alia Kamari in quarterback. We've kind of, in the last couple of weeks, seen a bit of a mix of Casey Cubis and Alia starting in this position. This week we've got Alia the go.
And it looks like it's a handoff for the run. Kiara, who is this is her sweet
broken
spot, and
open straight away.
Looks like it's just short of a 1st down. Great run to start.
Kiara has had a great season in that running back position. The O-line are doing a really good job to open up lanes for her, and she's just picking and choosing and running like wherever she wants.
The thing is, when you're a small running back, it works to your favor that people just cannot tackle you. We always say tackle low, but she's just able to break those. Again, handoff to Kiara. She runs it through. That looks to be a 1st down for the Rebels as they look to move. Oh, nope.
Hold on. Oh, yeah, they're calling it.
Yeah, they're calling it 1st down.
Only just.
Head of the officials, we can see from up here, it's a better angle than it is on the side of the field. But that gives the Rebels a 1st down. Again, not going down the field it's going to take them a couple plays to get down there.
It is going to take them a couple plays, but I think they're going to stick to this running game because
as
long as it's working.
Handoff to Jen Hawk, who cuts up through the middle to get, keeps going, breaks the tackle. That's about 6 yards. That's a good run. Good read of that hole straight up the middle that she took there. Broke 1 tackle, but it's helpful when you have 3 people jumping on the same player to take her down. But that was a good run by Jen Hawk there.
That was a great run to cut back up the middle and to break that tackle. Raiders really need to get on top of those tackles because broken tackles is what scores come off. So we need to make sure we're wrapping up
Looks like it's a handoff
Back
to
to that
Kiara
red game.
again. She gets through again, just shy of the first down, which brings us to third and what looks to be about 2.
They really love this zone read, the Rebels offense, and they do it so well. Alia, like we were saying, is one of the best at the zone read. She will hold it and hold that linebacker out into the very last second where she needs to pull and keep or hand it off. Seeing their big back, Vic Latu, come in.
Oh, that's a
and
drop
it's
ball! And
and
it looks
it's a
to
fumble!
be a...
There's a flag on the field, but it also looks like a turnover, Raiders ball.
Oh,
it is!
now that's a momentum shift.
The Rebels will not be happy with that. That offense is going to come off the field and need to reset to go back out there. It's very unlike them to have little mistakes like that.
I think that can be the issue sometimes when you switch out those players. They're not used to it. They're going for the one snap on short yardage, and that's where fumbles can happen. And that might be nerves.
100% nerves.
100%
First drive of the game, always nerves.
But look, that's her first touch in the ball, and I'm sure she'll be one of that one back, but I'm sure we'll see it later in the game. But we have moved to Raiders possession as they get a new set of downs. Amanda looks to hand it off with the double backfield, and they get through for about
2 yards?
2 or 3. Not a bad run. I would keep doing that if I was Raiders. I would keep driving at the Rebels, make them a little bit tired, make them hit you, work on that contact, because that's just going to tire them out a little bit more. Now, as we know, the Rebels do have, you know, the players to be able to rotate in.
They do have
but
depth.
when it is playoff football, you don't want to do as much player rotation.
No, because you want your best players on the field. You want your players who have the most experience throughout the season, who are going to be there to make the plays. Of course, your depth players are there to fill in.
Hand off to the running back again as she cuts back up the middle.
Oh, and
she is through. That is a first down for the Raiders.
That's
their
excellent
biggest yardage
so far.
That is their biggest run so far. I like that they're switching it up with the run and the pass. I think that's where the Raiders are going to be able to capitalize a bit more. But that is a first down for the Raiders. A great run straight up the middle. She looked like she was kind of carrying one of those Rebels players on her back for about 2 yards, which does make you a little bit tired when you got to do that. But right now, the Raiders run game.
Give up running back though.
But that's what you want. You want to keep running through contact. As we look to hand off the ball again to
Straight
number
down
33 for the Raiders. Straight down the middle, and that is Frenchie, number 13 for the Rebels, who hits her just at the line of scrimmage. I mean, that looked like
maybe 1 yard to gain.
That was a big hit.
That was a big hit. And I feel like when we see the running back line up so deep in the backfield, there is that risk that they are running 5 yards back to the line of scrimmage and then needing to gain more. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily work in our benefit if we do have such a dominant D-line like we do at the Rebels.
Looking to wind up. She's going to take off with that one and look to throw. That ball is thrown to the feet of number 23 on the Raiders. That is BK Cullen. Unlucky short pass.
Short pass. I don't think it was anticipated that that's how the play was going to go. She kind of did like a rollout but didn't get the depth in the rollout, so she was met by some linebackers. She wanted to get rid of the ball quick.
Sometimes it's better just to throw it down to the feet.
Oh,
throw it down to the
100%.
feet, get another go without losing any yardage. So that's where that experience comes in at quarterback. Just understanding that it's better to have an incomplete pass than
Yeah, we don't want to lose yardage. We don't want to turn the ball over. We want to give ourselves a second chance.
Single runner in the backfield. She looks to hand it off again. She's keeping it on the rollout. She's looking to throw. She winds up. She hits number 23, BK again, who gets some yards after carry. I mean, again, another throwing play for the Raiders that gets them some substantial yardage.
You know what I've loved about this season? That we have seen such a growth in the capability of our players, and that is quarter time.
Quarter time already. Yeah, you mentioned that development of players. I think one thing that's been interesting, and they've talked about it on the Women in Gridiron podcast a lot, is that introduction of that pass play that a lot of the quarterbacks have
We're going
this
to the
season.
air so much more now, which is challenging defenses and having to actually really play coverage, which previous seasons we've never had to do a lot. Like, I've played multiple seasons, and every season I've played, we've always played run heavy, get outside. Now we're seeing the ball go to the sky, and our corners and our safeties are going to have to work a lot harder to get back to play coverage. They're not necessarily coming down reading run. It's a challenge.
It is, and I think that the addition of the fly-in, fly-out players or the 5-foot players as we call them, has been a great addition to this season and to our comp. It leveled the playing field, and it brought some great talent, some great experience into a lot of sides that they were able to capitalize on.
Yeah, the FIFO players have definitely added a level to our field. I mean, it's unfortunate what happened to them up in Queensland with their league not being able to go ahead. It's benefited us down in New South Wales, so I'm sad for them, but I'm not mad for us. Like, we've definitely seen these quarterbacks come in and show what this sport is capable of looking like, and it's so interesting to watch. Here we go. We're first and goal.
Start of the second quarter. Already into the second quarter. This game is flying by. We do not have a score yet.
No, we do not.
As Amanda looks to hand it off to number 33 running back straight up the middle. Again, that is Fran coming in with the tackle. She is quick when she comes flying down to meet those runners.
Looks like a gain of 2 yards. I feel like they're about 5 or 6 yards out from the end zone. So we could potentially see a pass, we could see a run.
This is where it counts. This is where this is where you see what defenses can do and what offenses can do. When you get into this red zone,
These
you
are
get
hard
this close.
yards.
These are definitely the hard yards.
Seal motion in that double tight end. And a handoff
To the running back as she looks
and
to
she's
kind
fighting.
of just short of the goal line. What would appear to be inches. 3rd down and inches for the Raiders. Good defense from the Rebels. They're stepping up and making the plays. Could we see a quarterback sneaker?
Ooh, well, we see it against us in playoffs last week that we hadn't really seen from them before, and I wasn't expecting it, so it kind of surprised me. But we could definitely see for 1 or 2 yards. No, not a quarterback. She's not a center. She's in that shotgun position.
Oh, it's a trick play!
Motion from the tight end under center.
Is that a touchdown?
Taking it down the middle. She get it.
She is just short. What an interesting play from the Raiders.
That was a quick little sneaky.
That was a little sneaky play right there, but we have a Rebel player down.
Is that Mary Green? I can't see a number.
74.
No, not Mary. Tiani Waititi? I hope I haven't butchered that. I apologize if I have.
That is going to be...
I mean, injury is always horrible to see in our game. We don't want to see anyone go out, but it could be a timely injury for these Raiders offense didn't get the score. 4th down and 1.
4th down and if that.
Yeah.
4th down and inches by the looks of things. Interesting play, trick play. That's what we like about playoff football. Is it brings out the creativity in the coaches. They've got to switch things up a bit. It
and
was
Dane
nice.
is the creator of creativity. Like, if you've watched any season that he has coached, his offense is always multifaceted. It's got these levels, it's got these trick plays. You never know what's coming.
They fake the toss and they hand it to the tight end and come across it. So that's kind of their bread and butter stuff on the goal line and what we film. So we just need to be really fucking
I think we're hearing something from the referee.
We are hearing a little bit of the coach's game plan, a little bit.
outside linebackers, you guys can go, but we got to make sure.
In this situation, are you going to pull a trick play out again, or do you go? What do you do in this situation?
I mean, when the trick play doesn't work, you just got to go back to basics. You got to go back to your standard, like run-of-the-mill, hard-hitting O-line, driving down that pulling lineman that always works for them. Zone read, get it in there. Like, it's 1 yard. 1 yard. Back to basics. Keep it simple.
You know what I'd love to see? A quarterback fly over the top. I don't think we've seen that this season, this close to the goal line. I feel like this is the game where we could pull that out. I'm not sure if the quarterbacks can hear me, but Amanda, if you can, let's see if you can fly, because it'd be great to see you jump over that line. All you got to do is extend the ball over for that touchdown. You are close. But it'd be interesting to see what they do. 74 is up. She is a little shaky on her feet.
It looks like a lower leg ankle injury. She's got a bit of a limp.
I mean, as injuries, they're never fun, but
Injuries
the
suck.
benefit of them is you do get to take that little bit of a breather. I think that was good for the Rebels. They had just big hits towards the end of the big quarter. Now they've got big hits again to stop it, so short of the goal line. So,
and this is the play to either stop the ball, turn it over for them, or the play the Raiders are going to get first score on the board. We're seeing a tight end, a deep running back, and a wide receiver out to the left.
Quarterback
and it's a
sneak
quarterback
up
keep,
the middle,
and she's
quarterback keep,
got it.
and that is the touchdown. No jump over the top, just
it
ran
wasn't the
behind
jump
her
you wanted
line,
to see.
but she did extend over, and that gives us 6 points to the Raiders as they go ahead for the first touchdown of the 2022 Opal Bowl game.
I mean, you did call it a little quarterback keep, but it wasn't the keep over the top of the O-line. It was just that hard pushing O-line, all getting together, driving down, and Amanda also being a super hard runner, protecting that ball until she is over the goal line and stretching it out for the 6.
This is where I think this game is going to be interesting, is these conversion plays. Obviously, we always look to go from 10 seconds, see if they snap it, they get off. It's a fake,
it's a little
and
fake
PK
to
gets
the
it, and
deep.
she's in for the conversion, and that is another 2 points for the Raiders as they go up 8-0.
I mean, we didn't anticipate who was going to score first. Could have been either teams, but it has been the Raiders. What does this do for the momentum of each team?
I think it puts the Raiders in a good position. It gives them a lot of confidence. I think the Rebels defense is going to go into this, wanting a little more out of their defense.
I think their offense is going to want a little bit more. After the drive that they had with that turnover, they're now receiving a kickoff. Their offense is really going to prove that they are here to play, and don't underestimate them and what they can do.
When we talk about these two teams and we talk about their offenses and their defenses and the experience they have, both these teams have Outback players played, previously in that World Cup that we had earlier in the year. But when you watch these two teams, the weaknesses that they both have are their special teams.
Yes.
Being able to catch the ball, just being able to run a little bit, being able to tackle. For some reason, this is a weakness for these two sides. That it did. There must be a little bit of
anticipation of the big kick.
Just
and then
fell flat when the ball is over. Here we go as we go to kick off the Raiders. Rebels looking to receive. It goes over the middle. It's Jen Hogg, number 3, running to get the ball, and it goes out of bounds.
And again, flags are flying because on a kickoff, the ball has to stay in bounds. It is a penalty if it goes out of bounds. There are multiple options that the team can choose. You can elect to re-kick the ball. You can elect to take 5 yards from where this ball has gone out of bounds. And we see that the Rebels are going to placed at the 40-yard.
We are starting at the 40-yard line.
And we see a spread formation from this Rebels offense with Kiara in the backfield.
And Ali and a quarterback. We did see Cubas play a little bit on defense.
We did see Cubas play DB on defense, and we have seen her in previous games. She started in the first half at quarterback and then moved to DB in the second half. Not her usual position that she plays in.
Do you think that's some experience because she has played with Amanda before? She knows what she's like, that they want that knowledge on that defensive side?
Oh, for sure. Teammates in Queensland, opponents in New South Wales. When you play with someone for multiple seasons, you do get to know their keys and how they play. So playing on defense.
Look to hand it off to Kiara with the running back who's got a good yard, 6 yards. Again, her yards after contact are very good. Again, I was talking to one of her teammates who said sometimes she looks like the Flintstone car, where her feet just keep running and running and running when she makes that contact. And that's what you want out of running back. You want those extra yards after contact, and she just drops her head, gets those, and able to truck through, so that's great for her.
Motion.
Again, hand off the ball,
dropped.
Dropped. Again, was that recovery from the Rebels?
I think it's a Rebels recovery, which is lucky because you would hate to turn over the ball 2 drives in a row for this offense.
From a handoff to the running back spot. A little bit of a lost yardage. We are 3rd down and about 6, I would say, 6 or 7. Interesting from the Rebels. That is, as we look to hand it off again to Kiara, who's going to make up.
Straight down the middle. That O-line is really making some wide gaps for her to run through. It's making her look really good running down the middle. The O-line is really working hard.
But the thing is what that does to the Raiders is that just tires you out.
It
tires you out because then D-line has to get off their blocks. They have to look to try and tackle the running back, and sometimes it's from behind, especially if she gets through like she does.
I believe that there are 7 players on the
Oh,
field.
flag
And that is where the flag has been thrown. Players got set, 7 players on the field. They subbed in a fullback for a lineman, didn't take a receiver off.
Too many players on the field. That brings back that yardage that they just gained. They'll be wanting that one back.
They'll have to really work hard for this one. This is a 4th down, and they're going for it. They're in the opponent's side of the field, so they're just on the other side of the 50, not when they want to be on 4th down, and they're going for it. We see they've implemented this fullback. We're seeing a motion come across from the wide receiver. Ball is snapped.
It is a quarterback keep, and she is getting some yards.
Oh,
There's
and
Alia
she's
with the
gonna go
first
all the way
down, just beyond the 30-yard line. What a great run
I
to
was
make
waiting
up.
to see this from her because we have seen in previous games, Alia's run game is next level. She has worked really hard in the off-season. She's been playing in multiple leagues across the world to improve her game, and it has definitely given her that benefit in the run game.
It has, and 4th down, great run, what appeared to be about 15-yard gain. Great job by the Rebels. They've taken a timeout. I think it's just to get that composure, right? When you go through, you have a drop ball, which is almost a turnover. You have a penalty. Sometimes you just need to take that timeout, talk to your team, be like, hey, guys, I get this play of football. We got to rein in the nerves. We got to do what we came here to do, and we got to make sure that game plan is set. So I'm pretty sure that's just what the coaches are telling their girls. Take a minute. And it even gives that defense for the Raiders a little bit of a breather, because when you're constantly hitting, it does exhaust you, especially in this heat.
And especially when we haven't seen, like I said, these teams having to drive down the field. Like previous games, we've seen them score after 1 or 2 plays, some broken tackles, some missed tackles, some open gaps. They're really working hard for this one in this heat, on this field, in this big stage of the Opal Bowl.
But that's what you like to see from a quarterback. Sometimes when you have fumbles, you have misplays like that, sometimes it takes the quarterback to go, guys, I got you. I'll carry you for these plays like they need to do as a quarterback, as a leader on the team. So great job from Ollie. Great
Plays
run
like
to
that
set up.
really change the momentum too. Like your 4th and like 7.
And it's a quarterback keep. Again, as she goes to try and stiff arm V, it does take a bit of power to take her down. One thing I do like about the Raiders that they're quite sneaky about is those little ankle taps on their runs. I've seen in their previous games, their defense love to dive at your ankles, and they just kind of clip you.
They can't get low, get lower.
100%. Dive at those ankles, at those knees, whatever you got to do to try and get that tackle. Probably about 3 yards short. She hands off to Kiara again, who gets a nice little hole from her O-line again. That sets us up for a first down. We are in Raider territory as we sit at appears to be the Raiders' 15-yard line. Or just
another timeout.
Raiders, that's their 2nd timeout for the half.
You can see they're starting to get tired out there, well and truly into this 2nd quarter. See them trying to take some big breaths, get in water in, resetting. This is where the Rebels really want to capitalize on this field position, on this tied defense, to get the score even. They don't want to go away with no score at the end of this drive.
You don't want to have big plays like they've had and almost kind of waste it when you get into the end zone. That's never fun for anybody. So it'll be good to see Rebels catalyze here. When you're this far out, you've got a fresh set of downs. Are you looking? We haven't seen the Rebels throw the ball.
No,
Would you be looking to see them move to throwing the ball a little bit more? Would you look at those handoffs since those handoffs have been 50-50?
You know what? I personally would want to stick to the run game and fix up the errors that we are making before we try and do big plays. Sorry, I got little Hudson in the background of us commentating, and he's wanting to have a couple.
He just wants to get his info in there for everybody to hear. Again, we have Kiara in the backfield.
Spread 2 wide receivers out wide.
And we look to
and the zone
hand
read
it
again.
off as she goes in.
Straight down
She
the middle.
misses a tackle, spin around, and that is a touchdown
all
40
the
yard
way in.
little fist bump in the air from her as that brings the Rebels onto the scoreboard with 6 points.
She felt that one coming. That was a great play by the O-line, really opening up down the middle. Distance off a little tackle and straight into the end zone. It's what we love to see.
That's what we talk about
Here on
tackle.
the replay.
Nice
That
little
little
spin,
spin
little
move.
stiff arm,
I feel like
and that
that's
little
like
fist bump looking
her
at the
little
air.
signature.
Little handoff as we go in for the conversion. Does she get it? No,
Oh,
she is
she
just
misses.
short of that goal line on the conversion.
That's
So
a
it
good
currently
play by
sits.
that defense.
That is a huge stop for the
Huge
Raiders
stop.
as the score currently sits 8 to the Raiders,
What do we have for
6
time
to
on
the
that?
Rebels.
So that is
Now this is a game we wanted. These are the plays we wanted. This is what we wanted to see. It's great to see the Rebels get on the scoreboard.
I mean, last time we seen these guys match up against each other, it was a draw at halftime.
It was drawn at halftime. And that last
we
game,
aren't
the Raiders
expecting-
did score first, and the Rebels were able to come back. What I like about this game is it's taken them a couple goes. It's taken them a couple plays. They haven't gone down the field in 1, 2. They're taking 5, 7, 8 plays to get down. It tires out an offense. It tires out a defense. So
It's just the level of football that we're playing here in New South Wales now, though. Like, we are seeing actual athletes come out on the field, make big plays, make big stops, show the level of football, the way that the game is supposed to be played.
here we go as we look to kick
Kickoff.
off.
It's a
It's
little
a little
bit
bit short.
short.
And
And
it
it's-
knees it forward by a Rebels player who kicks it, unfortunately, out of bounds. That's always a tough one when you're coming in to try and recover the ball and you knock it.
Nothing more like
Out.
a momentum changer than
I'm getting
turning over the
messages from a
ball.
couple of the other players, a couple of the Stars players. Nona has messaged me saying they're loving the commentary. Danny just messaged me saying they're loving the commentary.
on the
It's,
kicking team. Ball has gone out of bounds, untouched. Will be placed on the 40.
oh, went out of bounds untouched. Apologies. I looked like from here that one of the Rebels players needed out of bounds. But again,
Yeah, I know.
ball out of bounds,
That's supposed to
another
happen.
free 5 yards. Helpful positioning for the Raiders, who are at what appears to be the 45-yard line, or the 40-yard line.
40
excuse me.
yard. And we see them come out in that same formation with the tight end and the two fullback running back in the back. But it's a fullback handoff. She's coming down
She
the middle,
meets
but
the line of scrimmage.
just
What a
pulled
tackle
down
by number 90.
Judy May.
I mean, that was a big play.
That was a huge play. She just came out of nowhere. The aggression, the pull down. I love to see it. It's my favorite part of football. Being aggressive, being able to hit someone as hard as you can with no one being able to tell you not to.
And I'm sure, in your head when you're going for that tackle, you're like, you shall not pass.
Yes.
You are not going anywhere. I'm going to pull you back as best I can because you are not getting through this line. Great defense from the Rebels. Again with the handoff by the
This
Raiders.
time to their
She
running
gets
back.
through one
Oh, and
tackle,
she's
meet by
breaking
a
a
couple
tackle.
of players. That's for about 6 yards. That brings us
It's a
up to
good play.
third
Some
down.
good yardage.
Some good yardage to what was a big stop out of those.
They're really running through the trenches. We haven't seen them go outside a lot today. They're really making those cutbacks, making that O-line really work for their blocks to create some running lanes for them on both sides of the ball.
Well, we're setting up in an empty backfield. Do you think we're going to look to pass the ball here?
I mean, it's a pass or a quarterback keep. Those are our only two options.
And it's a quarterback keep. There you go. As she looks to get the
and it's a
first
good
down.
keep.
Good hit.
Some good blocking by those receivers out there to really create that outside. Like I was just saying, we haven't seen them go outside
We have not
much.
seen them go outside.
And there she goes.
They must be mic'd up in their helmets. I think that they can hear us. What's great to see is quarterbacks having no fear and running straight into the contact. We always talk about, preservation as a quarterback running the ball, but in these types of games, you got to go make that contact as quarterback.
It's do or die. Like, there's no hesitating, there's no questioning, there's no being scared. You have to go
Looks
all
to
in.
hand off. It's a run up the middle. Oh, and there's a flag thrown on the play. Not much yardage as she gets about 2
It
yards.
looks like a holding. I'd like to know who the holding is on.
Holding on the offense, number 53. It'll be 10 yards. Replay
Number 53.
Holding.
53.
Those are killers.
That's
Those calls.
and
try to,
sometimes it's just
I
you're
have
doing
no-
everything you
no
can
view
to
of
open
that
up that
tackle
lane,
play.
and you don't really realize you're holding. You don't really realize pushing the backs are big things that we get called for in our game. What was a short gain now brings up 1st and 20.
That's a
for
10-yard
the
penalty
Raiders.
on that holding. So it's a replay of downs, 10 yards from the originals, from the spot of the hold.
2 minutes. 2 minutes, go.
We are at the 2-minute warning. No subject play in our game for the 2-minute warning, but we are at 2 minutes left of the first half as the Raiders look to go 20 yards down the field and get a new set of downs. That's a pass over the top, and that is overthrown to the receiver. That is
again, we're seeing some great coverage down the field.
Just lost the ball in what appears to be the sun, which is very easy to do.
So frustrating.
She just got that edge on the Rebels player. Again, brings us 2nd and 20.
Are we going to go deep again? Are we going to see another pass?
I think you have to. Well, you're sitting 2nd and 20. You want to try and make up as much of that penalty as you possibly can.
And the fact that there's only 2 minutes left now, we just got the 2-minute warning. This is coming down to a time game where you are mindful of the clock. You're mindful of the
quarterback
plays.
keep as she rolls out. She is looking to wind up and throw.
BK.
That is tipped.
That is tipped
by Alicia Rowe on the Rebels. Great coverage on BK Cullen to not let that pass get completed. Excellent job by the Rebels defense. Alicia was running with her. I mean, that could have been easily a pick.
Yes, could have. She got that other arm around. Instead of the one in the air, let's get 2 hands up.
Hey, one-handed catches. I wonder if we're going to see any of those today. We've seen a lot of those in the professional NFL, which they're fun to watch. So we'll see if anyone can pull out a big play like that down the sideline. As we have a running back in the backfield. Again, we are 3rd and 20 for the Raiders.
She's trying to catch him offside.
She's running. She looks to load up. Doesn't know what she's looking. And that is a
flag on the field, but she's
still going. Is it a free play? She's still moving.
I don't know.
She gets back to the line of
scrimmage. I feel like
scrimmage.
it's potentially a block in the back or a holding.
In our comp, it's one of those.
Holding.
Not much else happens.
Three. The play.
I just seen the sideline of the Rebels, and it's like they're declining this penalty.
We have a holding on the offense. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
Bringing up a 4th down for the Raiders. 4th and long. We're looking at like about 4th and I want to say close to 20 still. Maybe 19 or 18, give a yard or 2.
Correct. We are looking.
They're punting. We're seeing a punt here. We have Kiara deep in the backfield to return. Special teams can make or break a team.
Special teams can make or break.
We could see a huge play.
That snap is a bit high. Brooke is chasing, and she just misses the tackle. She gets the kick away, but
it's short.
It's a little short.
It's a kick for about 8 yards.
Interesting play. Unlucky on the snap. When I've seen the Raiders play in the past, I have seen that be a detriment to them. When they are looking to punt, the snap's been a little bit high. I don't know whether those penalties have shaken them just a little bit, but if I was not, just relax. You're up by 2. You've probably got just over a minute, if that, left of the second half. Go into the second half, leading by 2. But it seems like they have a little bit of nerves happening right now for the Raiders.
Definitely in that drive. I feel like they wanted to score just to get up a little bit more than that 2 points in the half. We see a handoff to Kiara down the middle.
She runs again,
that
lovely spin.
She loves it. It's like a little signature play of hers. Coming in to tackle, the little arm comes out for the stiff arm, and then the spinneroony, I'm going to call it.
Spinneroony. There's a phrase for you. A little stiff arm and a spin is what I'm going to go with, but we'll go with the spinneroony. We do have a timeout by the Rebels. As the ref said, second timeout for the half. That drive, that run, just brought up a new set of downs for the Rebels. Smart use of the timeout right now. Stop the clock.
Time management. It's a next level of the game. Can't forget about it because you could very easily lose a game because you are not keeping an eye on the clock, you're not managing the clock, and you're running out of time to score. So timeouts are key in this time of the game.
Timeouts are key. Correct me if I'm wrong, but both teams do have one more timeout for the half.
one timeout.
This is where the coaching experience comes into play. This is where Blake and Dane use their experience in Opal Bowls. When do they want to use their timeouts? How do they want these last couple seconds to go? And how do they want to finish this
What
first
plays
half?
are they calling too? Because you want to call plays that are either going to get you to run out of bounds to stop the clock. You want to call plays where the ball is going in the air. If it's dropped, the clock stops. If it's caught, it's a big gain. What are we going to see out of this? We have a spread offense. Oh, we see a zone read with the quarterback.
I almost lost some yardage, but she's still moving, still
And
running
she
as she
runs
runs out of bounds.
bounds.
But she was looking to get out of that tackle because that would have been a huge loss of yardage. Way to stay on your feet and keep moving and run out of bounds.
That was great play by BK. Unfortunately, that she was meeting her right there in the back for a stack on a quarterback. It is in fact, which is just out to get see this spread offense again.
Quarterback
speed
keeps
option.
option and she is
just
met
has not worked with them.
It looked like it bounced off the back in her hand. She never really released it. I'm not quite sure what happened
I
there.
know, but we're timeout out by this offense.
Yeah, decisions there from Blake. Oh my, what a play. What that thought to be a quarterback keep. It ended up being like a speed option back to the quarterback. That was definitely on play. Good job by Raiders to break through, cut it off. A loss of yardage there. We are third down, what appeared to be 13 or 14. Taking a breather, taking a minute. Now you're behind the line of scrimmage. You're back a couple yards further than you want to be.
It looked like third and 40 on like the 43 line. So gonna need big effort, big play. I can't imagine that there's a lot of time left on the clock.
When you're down by 2, you've got what I would say is seconds on the clock. Are you looking to run? Are you looking to pass? As the coaching staff, what are you saying to your offense?
Looking to just create a positive momentum. We've made an effort at the end of this, but we will make sure that our offense is going in confident. They're going in with big plays, no little mistakes, no turnovers, so that when we come back in the second half, because the Rebels will be receiving in the second half to start this offense in the second half. So we're going to get things right.
That's right. Rebels will be receiving in second half.
Twins to the right side of the field with a motion from Jen Hawk. In front of the quarterback. Oh, changing direction, coming back.
Quarterback keep.
It's a reverse!
It's a reverse! And she's running! Kat is running! She's got it! She's ahead of a blocker! And she's down!
They need to get up quick. They need to spike the ball. They need to do something before they run out of time. Everyone needs to hustle.
They got to get the ball moving. What a play by Kat. Great to see her back after injury. She did miss a couple games. Good to see her back in. What a play from the Rebels. Here we go. It is a handoff to Kiara, who's running outside. She just gets tackled. Again, big plays, playoff football. What a decision from the Rebels to pull that out of the bag at this moment.
The clock must be really running down. They're seeing coaches spike the ball, spike the ball, spike the ball. They really want to stop the clock. They want to score here after the big momentum change with that reverse play from Kat, who's taken the ball all the way down to the 10-yard line from the 40.
She was just in front. She had a blocker. She just was too far ahead of her. She probably needed to take a little gas off the pedal, sit back, let that block happen.
But
and then
when
she
you're
was
running down the field
for the touchdown.
in an open field, the excitement and the adrenaline, you just want to run as fast as you can. You're not looking to see where your blockers are next to you. You're looking to score your after in the end zone.
It is true. But that little cutback would be nice to see from her. But
she attempted it just a little bit too late. She got tripped up.
But great play from the Rebels as we look to snap the ball. And it is a handoff to Kiara. She gets up the middle. And she is stopped. Short.
Off the...
And they are looking to go quick because the clock is running down. And get the ball off. Snap again. It is a handoff wrong way. Wrong side. And the
Ali's had to kick. She's had to make it up.
A stop by the Raiders.
That's a huge stop by their defense.
Big
Huge
play
stop.
for the Raiders. hey, look, I've been in that position where you've turned to your left and there's no running back coming down that side. There is nothing
You have like
more
a minor
daunting.
heart attack.
You
like,
do, and you go,
what's
oh, that's my bad. Unfortunate for the Rebels after some big plays. Great job by the Raiders defense as they were able to stop any kind of points being scored off that
They
drive.
will have to take so much confidence out of that as a defense to be able to stop them with all the momentum that they had coming down the field. The time was not on their side, but the coaches were doing a real job of managing that. I don't know how long they have left on the field.
I can't imagine we have too much as the clock winds
and the
down.
The Raiders just scored their last time out.
Time out. Raiders.
Interesting play when we have 0.
Third and final timeout.
They could have just let it run out.
There has to be like a minimum. Oh, is someone calling? I would love to know
Unless
how many seconds we have left.
our clock is saying 0. Dana's called a timeout.
There must be like 3 or 4 seconds, enough time for one play.
We should see
What are you gonna? You have to go deep, right? Like you're just sending goes by all 3 receivers.
You're up by 2. Going into the half. Take a knee. Take a knee, recompose, go into halftime, talk to your team. There's no need to be flashy and fancy right now when the clock's down at 0. Oh, we have 5 seconds on the clock added as they readjust. Tim got his timeout in there quick enough. I'm sure he was coming flying down with his hands flapping, as we've seen them do in football when they're trying to get that. Very animated on the sideline, as they do when they're trying to get those timeouts off.
It does look like they're going for a kneel that formation, and they have kneeled the ball to run out the clock for the half.
I don't mean to say I told you so, but I will say I told you so.
I apologize. I just got so excited. I wanted to see off it.
I don't really want to see big play is that's so form something play is if you are to join us, use a great half ball. Of course, the Rebels they have down and just shut it out, which is great from the Raiders on the field and Rebels have shut it out. But we've seen some big plays already in what has been a very low-scoring first half, but a great first half.
I mean, and we didn't anticipate that this was going to be a high-scoring game. We knew that both teams were going to come out and really show like good defenses, stop plays, and keep the game really interesting for us to watch. Like I said, the Raiders are the underdogs in this team this year. The Rebels are the team that have gone undefeated. They are the ones that have everything to lose in this game because this is the game that they potentially could lose.
Going into the half, before we go to break, what are you saying as a coaching staff to the Rebels? What is Dane saying to the Raiders? When you come into the second half, what do you want to see both sides?
Going into the Rebels locker room, I'm saying to my offense, pull your heads in the game. We need to score. We need to stop making silly mistakes. We need to stop giving up penalties. You know, one play, one big momentum play isn't going to score us a touchdown. We need to really dig deep and do our jobs. Defense, doing a great job. A couple of little missed tackles here and there, but other than that, I feel like they're doing a really good job. Raiders, keep doing what you're doing. Clearly what they are doing is working. They've stopped them twice in their end zone or driving down the field. They've had a turnover. You know, their defense is looking really good. Their offense, again, their O-line is really working hard to create some gaps for their running backs to cut down the middle. Second half, I'd like to see a little change in play, something different, maybe coming out to challenge these defenses, to give these offenses a little bit more momentum, a few more scores, maybe change it up a little bit, see something exciting. We did see a little tricky tight end sneaky from the Raiders. We could see a little bit more of that in the second half.
We saw a reverse play from the Rebels as well.
Yes.
Clearly, the coaches have gone into their bag breaks to pull out fun stuff for people to watch. Worked for the Rebels, not necessarily worked for the Raiders, but you live, you learn, you go again next time.
It worked for the Rebels in the sense that they got yards. They didn't get the score though.
That is true. I mean, it doesn't mean much when you can't quite get on the scoreboard, but does make for great football. It makes it fun to watch.
The momentum of a team too. When you're making big plays like that, everyone gets excited, everyone wants to work. So you just got to build on that. Like I said, they are receiving in the second half, so it'll be interesting to see if that momentum from the end of that continues out to the start of the second half.
Well, we're going to go to a quick halftime break. But as the score stands, it is Raiders up by 2, as it is 8-6 at halftime in the 2022 Opal Bowl.
Thanks, guys.
welcome back to the 2022 Opal Bowl. As we go into the second half, we do have the touchdowns being replayed for you. Beck, low scoring first half from this Raiders versus Rebels game.
Very low scoring. Lots of good defensive plays. Bit of momentum changing for offenses. Interesting to see what we're going to see in this second half. We haven't seen Pierre on the field yet, which we mentioned off air early in the game that she didn't play last week in the playoffs due to injury. We were unsure whether we were going to see her come out on the field this week. She is suited up. We did see her warming up, but we didn't see her come out on the field during that first half. Is she going to come into the second half and be a bit of a momentum game changer for this defense?
I think she might be. It'd be interesting to see if they do. We can see the Rebels working on their handoffs on the sideline. A couple dropped balls, a couple penalties being called on both sides. Going into this second half, is that something you want to limit from both sides as coaches?
Oh, 100%. You never want penalties. You want every play to be a clean play, a yard-gaining play. You don't want to see any mistakes. But they do creep into the game, especially on such a big stage as the Opal Bowl. Nerves come into play. Again, like you said, with the different running backs coming in, different personnel can always change up the rhythm, the momentum.
Well,
I expect this Rebels defense to fix everything that they have made mistakes with in the first half and come out to the second half a new-looking team.
Well, Rebels will look to receive the kickoff in the second half. Again, if you are just joining us, it is currently 8-6 to the UNSW Raiders in this 2022 Opal Bowl. Exciting second half up. We've seen some trick plays. We've seen some big plays. We haven't seen a lot of passing game from either side. They've stuck to their bread and butter, which is their run game. I'd like to see them mix it up just a little bit more in the second half because I think it's going to come down to who can get to that air
It'll
game.
definitely challenge the defenses to see the ball go in the air because we're seeing them come down, read the run, come down really hard, make big tackles. You really want to challenge these corners, challenge the DBs to really make a play in the backfield and open up the offensive playbook. Like, I want to see something different.
As do I. I think as we get ready for the Raiders to kick off, the refs are still taking the field.
It's hot out there. They need a break. Like, it's beautiful sunny day. It's the best day for football. We love to play football with the blue skies, sun shining down on this beautiful fresh turf field.
You only throw them when you're in the middle, don't you?
And we have a kickoff for the second half. And it's picked up by number 84, who hasn't got many blockers in front of her, but she's definitely made a few yards on that play. I want to say about a 10-yard gain, getting the Rebels to start their offense on their 30-yard line, with Alia still coming out as their quarterback in the second half.
That was Michelle Greenwood with return for the Rebels, number 84. Switching up the personnel a little bit for their receivers. Interesting move from the Rebels to switch up and give kind of what looks to be a new kind of offensive front to start the second half.
Yeah, we're seeing not two new wide receivers, but number 25 was in the first half, number 84 coming out. It's a handoff.
As we run up the middle, great run, just shy of the first down marker. I would say that's about 2nd and 7. Or 2nd and 3, excuse me. 7-yard run for a 2nd and 3. Got the numbers mixed up there. As we see,
I think we just needed to give her that handoff to
get
the
it
handoff,
back.
get it back, get some yards on the play.
Kiara is back in the backfield for the Rebels. It is a handoff again to Kiara. She goes to the outside, cuts up the middle. She is in for a first down. That gives the Rebels a fresh set of downs, fresh set of yards.
Tackled at the 41, pulled down at the 45. She's definitely making yards after contact.
And that is the difference. I think that'll be the difference in momentum. That'll be the difference in these plays, is who can get those yards after contact. Again, going with the same personnel that's out there, same formation. Ball is, it's a speed option, and the ball is thrown.
It's a bad toss. Kiara's picked it up.
Kiara's picked it up, and
She's
she is taken out of bounds.
She's managed to get the yards
by
back.
the Raiders. It was a bit of a no-look fling, which, to be honest, I've done as a quarterback. You hate to see it. It's gut-wrenching because you want to be able to get it to your running back.
I mean,
just nerves.
In the speed option, you are reading the linebackers, the corner, whoever that key player is for you to read. That's where you're looking. You're not looking out to where your running back is. Your running back's job is to just be there.
Be there and catch the ball. That is correct, as we see a motion for the Rebels.
Set up into twins.
And it is a handoff to
Another handoff
Kiara,
straight
who
down the
runs down the
middle.
left side. She's run out the left-hand sideline.
She's
She is
made
tackled
contact.
at the 30. We are in Raiders territory for the Rebels. Great run again from Kiara, who just seems to be kind of owning this Rebels offense in big plays.
Big plays. And you know what? We anticipated this. Kiara has been a force to reckon with all season. She's been their lead touchdown scorer all year, and I don't expect that to change in today's game. She's already got one under her belt. Wouldn't surprise me if we see her come out and get another.
We see a motion from the Rebels. They do like that motion in their plays, as we look to see a handoff to Kiara again, going up the right side. That little spin off the defender that she loves so much.
I mean, we did see that defender get really nice and low, but she stopped her feet at the tackle. We need to keep moving our feet into the tackle to be able to take her down. She's in the right place, in the right position. Just that little spinneroonie, as I like to call it.
Spinneroonie, as you do like to say on this broadcast. Again, with the motion, bringing Mac over to the twin side.
I think they're just doing this to read what kind of defense that the Raiders are being set up in. And we're seeing a man defense. Did you watch that corner?
That was a great defensive stop from the Raiders, as they weren't falling for that one a third time.
Not at all. And that's what you see from Dane and his defense. He is so good at adjusting to play, making changes on the defense, what is necessary to make a big stop. And we see the interchange with the running backs here. Vic Latu coming back in. The motion again, running across field. We know it's man defense. The corner is following her all the way across, opening up that
Onto
wide
the outside.
outside.
She's getting some yards.
Oh,
a little leap and a hop and a jump and a skip to break the tackle. And she gets a fresh set of downs for the Rebels.
And they were able to bring her down, which is, you know.
Sometimes that's not what you want when you jump in the air. You don't want people on your feet.
No, you do not.
As we saw, great run,
She
great
is so
play.
agile for such a big back. Watching her run, it makes me excited. Like, what is she going to do? Where is she going to go?
Open field to the left-hand side. She runs up the
to her
middle,
again.
and she breaks a tackle, and she is in for a touchdown. That is a Rebels touchdown, which brings them to 12 points. Way to start off the second half. I mean, you go down the field in what took them a couple plays. That is where you're going to...
This is how they needed to start the second half, though. With the first half that they had, it definitely didn't go the way that they wanted to. It was very low scoring. They wanted to come out in this first drive, capitalize on receiving the ball, and score off it with the motion.
Look to get a
handoff
conversion,
to
handoff
through the middle again. And she's just running over
And that is
everyone.
a touchdown. They're in for a conversion by the looks of things. We've got people throwing their hands up in the air. I think they're trying to see where the ball has been spotted. We will wait for confirmation on the conversion from the referees. Great driving, scoring play from the Rebels to start off the second half.
Yeah, we've seen that game change, that momentum change. Vic Latu is just next level running back. Like, Kiara is a great running back. Her size is beneficial to the way that she plays and the way that she runs. But when you have a running back like Vic Latu come in with her size, being able to run over literally everyone on that defense and get the ball into the end zone.
Great play from the Rebels. You can see that their team was fired up on the sideline after that touchdown. This is turning into a very, very interesting Opal Bowl game. As the score stands, it is currently 14 to the Rebels, 8 to the Raiders, as we look to have the Rebels kick off and the Raiders regain possession of the ball.
We have a ball game on our hands.
We do have a ball game on our hands. That is what playoff football is all about, as we look to get it kicked off again by the Rebels. What do you want to see out of the Raiders in this drive for them to start the second half?
I expect to see, again, more running. I expect them to come out with the same formations that they did in the first half. We see the empty backfield with the trip, so we see that tight end.
She's picking it up. She is running. She has no blockers, but she is the ball.
She's
dropped
fumbled
it.
the ball. The ball is
And
still
the ball is
the
still
ground.
in.
Found it.
And the Rebels have regained the ball and possession at what appears to be the 15-yard line.
We're waiting to see what the referees have seen and what they're going to call.
It looks like it's a change in possession. That is, if that is a Rebels ball, that is a momentum swing if I ever saw
That
it.
is a huge play by the Rebels special teams. Very, very huge play. Let's not see the Raiders get their heads down, but let's see their defense. Yeah, the
Rebels
referees.
have regained. They have signaled it is a Rebels ball. Rebels offense hold the field again. If I am this Raiders defense, I would have wanted a little bit longer of a break, but with what is an outback defensive line and what they have, I want to see them really take it to the Rebels right now and get that ball back, get a stop, and keep this game alive for them. As it's a quarterback key. She's gone to the outside as she kind of stutter steps out back through the middle, and she is taken down at what appears to be a yard from the line of scrimmage.
That is a good ball chase by that D lineman. She got through into the backfield, was a little bit behind, kept chasing Alia all the way to the outside. She wanted the cut back in and met with the D lineman. It's those second efforts that really make plays, not giving up, not getting defeated. Keep chasing, play until the whistle is blown.
Again, we see that motion from the Rebels continue as they run this offense. The ball
it's
is
a low
snap,
It's a
but
forced kick
Alia
by
picks it
Alia,
up.
picks
That
it
is
up.
a low tackle. Well done on that Raiders. I want to say it's number 18. Great tackle by her to stop the ball. And again, we are sitting at 3rd and 5 for the Rebels. Raiders need a big stop here.
I mean, we're seeing Vic Latu come into the backfield again. I'm anticipating a handoff. The Raiders should be anticipating a handoff and really capitalizing, getting low, stopping her. Everyone needs to get to the tackle to get her down. They have done that, but it looks like a first down. Vic
for the
Latu
Rebels.
bringing up a new set of downs on the 4-yard line, it looks like.
We are sitting. It is
Oh, wait, no.
Keep your team personnel back.
My depth perception.
Back
Terrible
up, you
from
sit
up
by
here.
down.
It is 1st and goal. Raiders getting warned about where their personnel is currently standing by the referees. It is a snap. It is a handoff as she
She's
runs
going
to the
out wide.
outside.
She got
and
speed,
she is
and
through
she's in.
for another touchdown for the Rebels. That brings them to 20. That is a touchdown. Again, we said when we started the program, we said that if they get to the outside, that's where they're going to burn them, and they're going to be in for a touchdown. I mean, we talked about at halftime before the second half kicked off about how we would like to see them move a little bit more in the passing game. But when your run game is working, you've got your running back and your fullback that you can utilize like the Rebels can. Why would you switch up the plays?
You wouldn't. You just keep going.
And again, that's in for a conversion. That is a walk-in extra point, as you said. Another 2, so that is 22-8 for the Raiders. Costly turnover that resulted in a touchdown. What are you saying to that Raiders team right now if you're doing that?
They are still in it. There is so much time left in this game. You need to not get your heads down. You need to not feel defeated. You need to pick up your momentum. You need to believe that you can and you will. This Raiders offense has all the capability of scoring. We've seen it already. They need to just make sure that they hold on to the ball. Do not turn it over. Do not give up penalties and do things right, as we see them come back for another kickoff. Second time lucky, hopefully. We see a big return. We have seen V return the ball for touchdowns previously throughout this season, so it's very possible that she could pick up this ball and return it for 6, and that would definitely change the momentum of the Raiders offense.
That would, and they're not out of it. Just got to keep their heads up. Stick to your game plan.
Yeah.
Do little things. Do little things, right? And you will be able
Big
to move
things will
the
happen.
ball. Big things will happen. You'll be able to move the ball down the field. I don't know. I sense something coming for the Raiders. I do. I think
I hope so. I'd like to still see this game be competitive.
as we go for a kickoff, it is
Flat ball.
past the second line. It is rolling and rolling and rolling.
Up.
Good bounce for V to be able to pick it up.
Need some
She is
blocks.
needs some block ahead of her as they pull her out of bounds. That is Ellie Gaines for the Rebels getting the tackle out of bounds. She's a rookie for the Rebels, and she has had a very impressive season this year.
I believe she has a rugby background, so she's not scared of a tackle. She's not scared of attack. She's ready to get in there. But again, a rookie still learning the way of the game.
But great tackle to take her out of bounds and get short yardage on that return as the Raiders offense is back out on the field first time in the second half.
Starting their drive on the 23-yard line, 1st and 10.
We've got the double backfield that they love so much
With the little turn.
as it goes to be a handoff for 23 years. Running to the outside, she's got some
nice
yardage.
blocking by the
and
O-line
that
down
was
the
a
field.
big hit on that running back right in the ribs. Look like
Those ones hurt.
Those ones stink.
You want to pretend like they don't, but they definitely do.
Oh, they sting 100%. Just shy of a first down. We are second, what appears to be 3 or 2 yards. Are we going to see them go to the air? Are we going to see them stick to the run game?
They're going to
Raiders?
stick to their run game. It's 2nd and short.
10 seconds, girls. Let's go.
Clock is counting down with 10 seconds. Amanda has the ball. She is running it.
Speed
She
option.
has
Oh,
dropped the
no!
ball again on the contact. Ball is flung forward, and the Rebels have regained possession. That is 2 massive stops for the Rebels. The ball is popped out. That is not what you want to see from the Raiders.
Oh, I'm feeling for this Raiders offense right now. I am.
I mean, the defense is not getting the break
That they need. And
it is
you
hot
know,
down there. They're going to get tired. What's been interesting to see is they are switching out personnel on their defensive line for the Raiders, which is good to see. It gives some fresh legs.
Which is what you need if you're constantly on the field as a defense.
100%. We've got Kiara in the backfield. Snap a little high. It is a handoff to the running back as she cuts up the middle, and she is tackled just shy of a first down. This is turning out to be a very, very interesting start to the second half. Clearly, whatever was said in the locker room to the Rebels at halftime has clearly worked. They've come out guns blazing as they go to snap the ball. Again, it is a handoff to Kiara, who will run it up just outside for a first down. Run game clearly working for the Rebels as they're getting some yardage on it.
Oh, and if you look at the Raiders defense, they're hands on hips, they're gassed, they're tired, they want to break. So sticking it to the run game is definitely working for the Rebels. They're capitalizing on a tired defense. Props to their special teams and their defense for turning over the ball and getting them the ball back and the opportunity.
As she runs up the middle again, that is Kiara with a player on her leg as she tries to truck through. Second down and what appears to be 5 yards to go to the first down marker. Sitting in Raider territory. You're right, Raiders, they look tired. They look gassed. Their hands are on their hips. I feel like they just need a big play. They need a big stop. They need to get Kiara low. They need to stop that run game. Stop the run game.
And you know
Break
what? They
through those
should
blocks.
be anticipating what is coming. They've zone read, zone read, zone read, all the way down the field. It's what's working for them, so it's what they're going to keep doing. And as coach, I would be doing the same. This play is working. Why would I change it? Why would I do anything different?
We now have a fresh set of downs for the Rebels as we kind of switch out our running backs from Kiara to Latu. Again, this is worked for them in the second half. Get that constant switch into running
They
backs.
have this new formation with this tight end and receiver on the same
She
side.
hands off and she's to the outside. She tried her in the ankles, bounced off one tackle, bounces off
my
another
God.
as she just bulldozes in for what
She's short.
looks to be just short of a touchdown. We do have a third down on the 54 for the Raiders.
They're just bouncing off it.
That's why we always say tackle low, tackle
And
low,
wrap
tackle
up.
low.
Use your arms. Don't try and hit someone with a shoulder, because a shoulder to matching a shoulder doesn't necessarily work.
There is a play. They are going to bring that run back, as there was a holding call on the offense for the Rebels. When you watch a big play like that, you hate to see it pulled back on a penalty.
I feel like it happened to us many times through the season, especially in that last playoff game. Poor Christie running 60 yards and then it getting pulled back for holding. It hurts. It hurts as an offense. It hurts as a defense on the sideline, watching all that effort and then having to come back. But it happens. You just need to do it again, right? It's in dead.
It does. I think with that penalty, it gives the Raiders defense a little bit of room. They're not sitting, on the goal line.
I mean, if I'm that injured player, I'm staying down a little bit longer just to help my defense get a breather, have some water, relax.
That break will be good for the Raiders. Can't quite see who is it's down for
I can't see
for the NSW Raiders at the moment. As captains in this moment
Number
for
80.
the Raiders, what are you saying to your teammates? What are you saying to your players?
Of the Raiders?
Of the Raiders, as you're there.
Keep your heads up. Like, we are capable. We are capable. We know what's coming. We know how to stop it. Just do your jobs. Stick to the game plan. And trust that our offense will score for us when they get the ball back.
This coming out of this injury break, do you think we'll see a bit of a shift, a momentum swing? The Raiders have gotten that kind of break that they wanted, not the way they wanted to get the break, obviously, but they still get a break. Rebels still working off that run game, but they are currently sitting at first and what appears to be 20. That is a lot of yards to try and make up, even if you are sitting in the Raiders half.
It is a lot to work to get back, and this is where the defense needs to capitalize and look at it as a benefit for them, because they have to get twice as many yards in the same amount of plays. This is where defenses really need to show that they can make a stop and turn the ball over and give their offense an opportunity. Don't be defeated. Make use of the break, fresh bodies, water in the system. Stick to the game plan. Let's go.
I think this will give the defense...
I think the Rebels are a little bit lost coming back out onto the field. They're not sure where the ball is, and they've just realised that it's 10 yards back from
we're
where
all the
they
way
started.
back here. I think these types of timeouts are a detriment to the Rebels. I think they like momentum. They like running on the front foot. And I think when you bring in a stop to that momentum, it does take them a minute to kind of adjust and go, okay, now we got to get back up again. Now we got to get into that second, third gear again when we were just in it. So it'll be interesting to see what the Raiders can do here. They need to get a stop.
I'm seeing Vic Latu in the backfield again. I assume
As it is
a
a
handoff to
as
Vic
she goes
Latu
to
on
the
the outside. And they've brought her down. Good job on the defense. She has gained probably the 8 or 9 yards back from the penalty.
They're still about 2 or 3 yards from their original line of scrimmage. So they've got about 13 yards to make up here. It is 2nd and 13. We do have what appears
Quarter time.
quarter time.
Is it?
It looks that it is. Or is it a timeout? Quarter time?
No, I believe it's
It is quarter time.
Second and 20.
As we swap ends, you see the teams walking down, really taking their time, getting in the oxygen that they very much need, talking to their coaches.
If you're the Raiders going into this fourth quarter, right, we've seen it in the third quarter. It was all Rebels with 2 touchdowns, 2 conversions. So clearly the momentum is in their favor. What do you want to see from these Raiders in this fourth quarter? Because again, this game is still very much in reach for them.
You just need one play, one big play to change that momentum, to lift your team, and everyone else follows. Second efforts, chasing the ball after you've missed a tackle, to go for that second effort.
It's a shame they did talk about kind of like miking up the quarterbacks in this game, which would have been funny. I would have loved to have seen kind of what cadences the quarterbacks have, and if they've got any funny words. Like I know for us when we were running motions, we were calling Yankees. You could throw fruit in there like watermelon if they're trying to get the motion moved.
The defense literally has no idea what that means.
Exactly, no idea what that means.
No one ever calls words for motions. It's like a little hand signal or a foot stomp.
That's kind of fun. It's a shame they couldn't do that. But as we look to hand off to 9-9 to get the fourth quarter started, she is through.
She's got a big
up
gap
the middle.
through the middle.
Big gap. She shoves off V, and that again is a touchdown for the Rebels as they move to extend their lead. Again, we have a player down for the Raiders. When you are constantly going as a defense, it does take it out of you. You do run the risk of getting more injuries because people are tired. When you are tired, your mechanics of tackling go because you just want to stop the play.
Yeah. And I think that's what we've seen. We've seen her try and grab for a tackle. It looks like maybe a shoulder.
She has been out injured for a couple of games previous to the playoffs, so hopefully she hasn't flared up anything there. As the score stands with that touchdown, it is currently 28 Rebels, Raiders 8. The game isn't moving out of reach for the Raiders, but they do need a big play. They need a big stop. Those turnovers by their offense in the third quarter have proven to be costly.
Well, this is the fourth quarter now. This is the game-winning quarter. This is where all the tricks in the bag, you need to pull out every stop, give everything that you have, leave nothing left on the field so that you can walk off that field saying that you did your very best. And hopefully end up with a win.
I mean, we've seen it, right? We saw this in the previous Opal Bowl against these two teams. The Rebels did make a comeback win in double overtime. We could see that happen today. Again, anything can happen in playoff football. Anything can happen in football. Anything can happen in the fourth quarter. If I was the Rebels, I'd be saying to my team, keep doing what you're doing. Don't get complacent because you have 12 minutes left of ball to play, and anything can happen in those 12 minutes.
Literally, anything could happen. That's it. You said it. As we see them go for the extra point here.
As they run that motion again, low snap, handoff to Kiara, who has a lead blocker in front of her. Does she get in for that one? One of the Rebels players is signaling for a touchdown.
The referees
have said that is no-go there.
Short. And we have another player down, this poor Raiders team. One after the other going down like bowling pins.
I mean, it's becoming a very physical game in the trenches, in that line, trying to get off those blocks, trying to handle those blocks. It is getting hot out there. The sun is shining. Out on that turf, it's probably hotter than it is up here in the recording booth.
I mean, and you said it, tired bodies means poor mechanics. Poor mechanics lead to injuries. You know, it's hard. And then your depth on your sideline becomes limited. I just don't want to see these Raiders team go down without a fight. And I don't expect them to. I expect them to really keep in the game and keep fighting. And hopefully when they receive this ball, drive the ball down and give their defense a break. Give the offense a chance to move the ball, get some yards.
I want to see this Raiders offense come out with a little bit.
Like a chip on their shoulder. You have something to prove. You need to move the ball. You need to score. We are not giving up.
After those two turnovers, dropped balls popping out after contact, I would be putting, that is BK Collin hobbling off with what appears to be a lower leg ankle injury.
That's a massive loss for that Raiders team.
Not only does she play defense, but she is on offensive snaps
She's
as
playing
well.
both sides of the ball. We have a little wheelchair man running out on the field. They got it all over on that run. Raiders sideline.
They really do. They're very well prepared.
She doesn't want it.
Oh, good on her.
She's not taking the wheelchair. She's going to hobble off.
This is where the clock is stopped, but we're taking some time to get back out on the field as we're just trying to figure out our personnel as we go into these next couple of plays. Offensively, if I'm the Raiders, I'm telling them protect the football.
Yes.
2 hands on the football when you're running through contact. Tuck it under your arm, stick another hand on there for safety, right? You don't want to run with like bat wings, right? And have that ball kind of fly out like it appears they have.
The last thing you want to do now is turn over the ball again.
Yeah.
So ball protection is key.
100%. But as we go to have the kickoff again from the Rebels, we talked earlier in the broadcast about special teams being an issue for the Rebels. Clearly that has not been the case for this second half. But I would like to see the Raiders have a good offensive drive as they look to receive, and the ball is kicked. It is over that second line.
It's gone deep. It's rolling past V.
She's
stopped on a little bounce. She's got to pick it up and return
There's
it.
no blockers in front of her, and she goes to try to turn. That is
that's a block.
That's
in
a
the
block
back.
in the back by
That
number
was a
73.
silly move. That is so
That is
unfortunate.
frustration. That is
That is-
frustration coming through because they know better, and they need to be a little bit more disciplined when you are, you know,
It was
behind the eight ball.
unnecessary too. That's the annoying thing. When you look back at the plays and you see that it was a block in the back and where it's happening, sometimes it's not even necessary to the play. And it's,
Sometimes you just need to stand there.
yeah, be in the way.
Just stand in the way.
Number 73, the half distance.
But
Which means we'll see this Raiders offense
front of the
start
foul.
in Rebels territory.
First down.
Looks like on the
it appears to be
like the 3-yard line. So they have a lot of work to do to get out of this territory and into their own.
This is to get this ball
Seeing
down for a
this double
touchdown.
tight
They
with the
have
little
a lot
motion.
of ground to make up for as they look to snap the ball and
See
hand it
her
off
run.
to
Oh.
Amanda's going to keep it, and she's going to run to the
Quarterback.
outside. It's a quarterback
She's got to
keep.
get outside. She's got to
She
get.
didn't quite have her blockers up in front for her. Is that Rebels players, Rebels coaches are jumping on the side of their hands in the air, thinking that it is a turnover.
Or a safety. I think they're calling a safety, but I think
Her leg looked like it was
the
down
ball
before
was
the line.
still on our side, in the play side of the field.
If you are just tuning in, it is 28-8, and we have 10 minutes left of the fourth quarter. And that's the issue you do have when you are sitting in your end zone like this to start the ball.
She was hit hard. Again, that ball protection. She's fumbled it, and a defensive player has picked it up in the end zone for a score.
Again, big plays by the Rebels.
You can see the excitement of everyone on the sideline.
Right as I said, the score update, we then had another one. So it is 34-8 to
Changes
the
that
Rebels.
quickly.
Changes that quickly in this game. Kiara's got the handoff. They go low. They miss her. She steps out of that one, and she is in for the conversion. And it is now 36-8.
Raiders have a lot of work to do. They need to dig deep. They need to play for themselves. They need to play for each other. They need to play hard. Not give up.
So what is that? What is that?
Halftime was clearly very interesting for the Rebels as they came out. Rebels, very disciplined team. They always come out of the locker room. They go through their warm-ups again, as do the Raiders. But I feel like when you look at both sides that came out, Raiders probably came out maybe a little overly confident to start the second half. They were up by 2, and now these Rebels have really kind of taken it to them, and they're making them work for the ball. But ball protection,
You
guys.
can never think that you have a game won until the end of the game, regardless of a halftime score. When you come back out on that field at halftime, it's 0 all over again. You need to reset. You need to challenge yourself. You need to challenge. You need to playing to the very end whistle, because that's when the game is won.
That is the mindset they're going to have to go in for this right now.
Never.
No. Do not worry about the scoreline. Do not worry about the drop balls. Do not worry about the turnovers. Go out there, play football. Stick to your game plan, because that is what's going to get you back in this game. That is what's going to get you driving up the field as we look to go kick off again in the fourth quarter.
New
Ball
returner
is
back.
over. New returner. The ball bounced forward. Great little bounce. No blocks in the back. She does get hit, and she is down. Okay, that's... I need to take a hand to the helmet there when she's already down. Raiders offense. Run game. Not working. They're dropping the ball. Do we move to the air?
I feel like at this point in time, you have to do something different, because what you're doing isn't working. And I mean, we know this Raiders offense. We know this Raiders team. They are so capable of being better. I want to say being better. And
Well, we are looking. There are no runners in the backfield. So it does look like we may be going to a pass play from Amanda. Those quarterback keeps have not been working. She loads up, she hits a receiver who gets hit right as she makes the catch. Great defense, great job at keeping your hands on the ball to complete that catch as well with the linebacker right behind you.
Gain of 2-3 yards, so it's not a bad play. Those short, quick out passes, they work for us if we're catching them. If we keep doing that, you know, all you need each play is 3 yards. If you get 3 yards every play, that's a first down. So you don't necessarily need big yard gaining plays.
We have a run back in the field, so we might look to see them run the ball again here as she looks to hand it off. She runs on player, tries to go through, but she gets met by 2 of the Rebels defensive players. Rebels defense fired up. They want to get those stops. They do not want to let these Raiders players through.
That play for you now at 3rd and 2. So just grind in the gears. This is a grind the gears kind of also these Raiders needs to play. They need to just do on the basics, get a stand off, making block. She's made.
That is a run from
First
the Raiders. That is a first down. That is their first down, I believe, of the second half. Ball protection. They're keeping ball in their hands. They haven't dropped it. They're getting down the field.
They are. This is going to be a tough drive for this offense, but they've had all the time on the sideline to, you know, think about what they need to do. Work and
low snap. Amanda winds up to throw the ball, and it's she extended and everything hit the fingertips. That is an incomplete. You're right, slightly overthrown. That was again Cheyenne Digger had a great catch in one of the opening plays for the Raiders. Thought she had that one. That's what you got to do with receiver. You got to extend. You've got to fly out that way. It's unfortunate she just lost in the fingertips. Great.
I know you stop throwing though, just because it didn't one time. Because really it's on.
It is.
Amanda has the ability to throw that ball. The receivers have the ability to catch it.
She's looking to wind up again and throw as she hits. Nice ball straight to the chest play. For number 16, who is her. She's had a couple catches
That's
today.
A catch for a first down. They're moving the sticks in this drive, which is what they need to do.
They are getting the ball up the field now, which is
first
great.
And on 50, they're in territory now.
I mean, that's what you want to see from your receivers. Whether in traffic, it does not matter. You have to be making those catches. It's in a game like this. When you're behind,
to the empty backfield.
Trust your hands.
It's a pass. She's winding up. It's a little bit behind her.
Probably wanted to lead her a bit more in that pass. These Rebels defense are all over those Raiders wide receivers.
Yeah, throughout the season, we've seen these corners and these safeties really have to step up game and keep that coverage. And the Raiders secondary is actually, the Rebels secondary is actually probably one of the best that we've seen do it this season. And being able to cover those deep balls, those crossings.
It is 2nd and 10 Raiders.
Backfield.
At almost dropped the snap there. She winds up, she's gone deep, and she has overthrown that ball.
And we see 3rd and 10. Are we sticking to this passing game?
It seems to be working for them right now. That's where they're getting the yards.
Need one catch, right?
One big catch. One big catch over the Rebels secondary. You know, where can you get that matchup and try and outrun corners? It'll be interesting to see what they do here as they are 3rd and 10. They are lined up with their double backfield that they like so much. As it's handed off to number 33. She used her teammate with a lead blocker, and she gets about 8 yards on that run, just short of a first down.
Bringing up 4th down and
what appears to be 3.
4th and 3. They really need
4th and 1, as we can now see it on our screen.
Oh.
So we didn't actually have to try and see it from here. We could have just looked at the screen right there.
I don't think that's correct though, because
no, 4th and 2, they've adjusted. Yeah,
is
fourth,
not 1 yard.
4th and 2, they've adjusted it for us. So this is definitely, they can get
Quarterback
this first
keep.
down here.
Go,
Quarterback
go,
keep it. She
go,
goes.
go.
Keep going. And that is in for
Gets the
what
first
appears
down.
to be
And then
a
moving the
first
chains.
down. You hate to see a quarterback at the bottom of the pile like that. You hope that they get back up.
As a quarterback, you don't want to be at the
No,
bottom
you
of the
do
pile.
not want to be at the bottom of a tackle like
But
that. That would.
in games like this, do what you got to do.
But Amanda is very experienced. She knows what she's done. She's got a lot of strength behind her. But it's great to see the Raiders moving the football. Moving the football. They weren't able to do third quarter. But it's great to see actually now getting a rhythm, moving the ball downfield. To wind up, she looked at throw to the right-hand sideline. She turns. Oh, it's an incomplete catch.
She had hands to that ball. That cornerback did not turn to see that ball coming. She had great coverage, but she didn't play the ball. That was a catch for the receiver to make, and she's just dropped it with the contact on the ground. Great ball. Amanda has.
I mean, she is sitting those footballs up there for her receivers. Trust the passing game. She's got to keep trusting her receivers. Keep looking at those plays because they have gone off. They will go off. Those ones are unfortunate. I know the receivers will be kicking themselves. I mean, she was probably flabbergasted that she didn't get that catch as well. As we run up the middle.
Up the middle.
I love the little jersey pull that people get.
Like when you're a defensive player and you're making a tackle, you are grabbing at anything and everything. It's a jersey, it's a bit of hair, it's an arm, it's a hand, whatever you can get your hands on to make that tackle.
We have 4 minutes left in this Opal Bowl. Raiders are down by 3 touchdowns, I want to say. Down by 3 or 4 touchdowns. They're moving the ball. They're looking good as we go in for what appears to be a timeout for the Rebels. Not what I would want as the Raiders. We've got momentum on our side. We're moving the ball. We're running. I think I would want it to be running into a timeout.
It's 3rd and 1. They probably had a little quarterback sneak coming about them again. We see the Raiders getting in that huddle, we're listening to their coaches, getting some water in this offense is working hard to drive all down the field.
It might be a fucking quarterback sneak again. They love to do it. Make sure we're fucking out in the middle.
We are listening to the Rebels coaches explaining to their defense what it might be. As they're saying, they do like a quarterback sneak in the Raiders, especially when it's short yardage.
Jam in, sit in a bit tighter than normal, and jam that center.
I'd be going something fancy. I see if I was Raiders. I mean,
push her back.
now
By
almost 4 touchdowns. You've got 3 minutes and 54 seconds left. At this, what are you gonna lose by going all out and throwing everything?
You could lose the ball, which is not what you want to do.
You could lose the ball. I think they've learned from the 3rd quarter about that one.
I mean, I expect them to stick to the run game. It's 3rd and 2. Again, you can see a little quarterback sneak. You could see speed option, tailback lead. Or we could see that little tight end pull.
You could see a tight end pull. Maybe go for it.
Definitely. Oh, they have to go. If they don't get the first down in this play, they have to go for it on a 4th play.
They've had so many opportunities to catch that ball on the right-hand side. I do think there is a little bit of a mismatch on that right-hand side. We do have Cubis in there on defense for the Rebels. Running back in the back. It is, there is a flag. False start.
That one hurts. That one hurts a lot. You go from 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 6.
You're just kind of eager, too, to get the play going.
Oh, of course you are.
You want to get out there. You want to beat your defender. Sometimes it proves costly as well. It is unfortunate as they're probably looking to run that down for a new set of first down. Again, sticking to the same formation. They have one running back in the backfield.
They motion to that double tight end on the left side.
Looks like it's a handoff as she's cutting up to the right-hand side. It looks like she is tackled short of the first down. Great job by the Rebels defense in getting that stop. That Rebels defense is really laying it all out on the line. You can see as they get up from those tackles, they're just that little bit slower as we are 3 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
So what's the result of the play? Have illegal
Just
formation.
listen to see what the flag
Of illegal formation on the defense. They lined up with linemen, accept or decline. So it's 5 yards from the line, or it's going to be a result of the play.
We are waiting to see what Dane is going to do with this penalty. As they said, that was illegal formation on defense.
So the defense had
Illegal
more
formation
than
on the defense. Too many linemen lined up. Be 5 yards from the previous spot.
So when we line up in the line of scrimmage, the defense can only line up one less lineman than what the offense lines up with. So Raiders line with a 3-man lineman, meaning that the Rebels can only have 2 down linemen on the line. They obviously had more than that in the previous play, leading to the penalty.
We
So
do make up. We do see that
Good.
sneak that they tried to pull off earlier where they motioned one of their players under center.
Motion that tight end under center.
And
little
that is
quick
a first
snap.
down for the Raiders. Gets them a new set of yards, a new set of downs to go down the field.
Moving the chains again, what we love to see.
Clock
from an
is still
offense.
running.
I know and again, we're coming down to that time management. Are they thinking about the clock right now, or are they thinking about scoring? Do we call a timeout to manage it? Do we kind of put the ball up in the air? Are we running out of bounds?
That is a toss
Toss.
play.
We haven't, oh no, it's a toss. She's looking to pass the ball downfield.
Oh, that is an incomplete.
Great coverage by
pass.
Casey Cuba. She did not get fooled by that run play. She was on that receiver like a rash.
Took a minute for that to progress. We weren't quite sure what was happening. Interesting play from the Raiders. Didn't quite work. We do have another Raiders player down. You can see she's looking for that receiver, and she just gets a hand in her face. It's just got to throw over. It makes any pass difficult when you're throwing the football. It's 2 minutes. We got 11 seconds until the 2-minute warning.
I really want to see the Rebels score, the Raiders score here. I do. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think they have the ability, or like there's an opportunity for them to score 4 times in the next 2 minutes. I mean, anything could happen. I don't want to rule it out, but unlikely. But I would like to see them finish this game with their heads high.
Get us the ball back, and then we're a good defense.
You can see here the Rebels coaches telling their defense, let's try and get that ball back. They want it back. They want to keep scoring. They really want to pull this game out of reach from the Raiders. And with 2-minute warning approaching, you just want the Raiders to keep doing it. You want to try and
we
score.
see them come out.
Onside kick, try and get another score after that. This is doable for the Raiders.
We see a new quarterback in. Amanda's
lined up out of receiver.
I wonder if the Rebels have picked up on this change of personnel. We see number 12 go under center. They have one running back in the backfield, a tight end to the left, and it's a handoff with
this is
a
a
toss
reverse.
and a reverse.
And she is running. She is
looking
throwing
to
the
throw
football,
ball,
and it is dropped. Oh, if I had that much
All the
yardage.
excitement of that play to finish with a drop. That one's got to hurt. But you got to pick your heads up. You got to go for the next one. It's 3rd and 10.
On this situation in a play like that where you have yardage in front of you, yes, okay, it is a design pass play. But if I want that first down, run.
If I see
run
yards
the football.
in front of me,
If I see yards, run the ball. You've got to do what you can to get that first down. You are sitting at 3rd and 10 right now.
and you can see that they literally are pulling out everything from their playbook. They really want to score here. They've got
Amanda's
empty
dropped back in
backfield.
the pocket. She's looking. Now she's
seeing
taking off.
field.
She's running. And she's going to get taken down
Oh,
by Frenchie, who came up quick to get her.
some of these tackles look so awkward.
It's that slide and like the back, when the back foot gets caught.
It hurts me watching sometimes. Like, they get up so quickly, like it's not that bad. And I'm watching it going, oh, that looked like it hurt. Which brings up a 4th down.
Fourth down and
9. We
Right,
hear a
which is
timeout from
unfortunate.
the Raiders.
Their first
that is a
timeout for the
timeout
half.
called by Dane. We are at 1:29. Beck.
What are you calling? In that huddle. It's 4th and 8 or 9. 4th and 9. We're about
This is where I wish we had a
21
kicking
yards,
game.
22 yards out from the goal line.
This is where I wish our league had a bit more of a kicking game in it, because I feel like this could be very interesting. Well, it's not necessarily they can catch the squad of the Rebels. Rebels have done very well in the second half. You know, kind of being able to kick a field goal right now to give you maybe 3 points, but you know, our game isn't really played like that. Would just be kind of like, it's a disgrace, the mistletoe on top, if you will, instead of the cherry. But I do want to see these Raiders score. I do want them to not waste this drive that they've had. It's unfortunate that it has only come in the fourth quarter. Be interested to see where this game was if they were able to get this going in the third after that, you know, after that first one, even. But you can see that where players, fresh legs, really helps you in a game like this. As the Rebels, as we can see, they have plenty of men on the side of the field. Not that the Raiders don't.
Out here. They're empty backfield.
They
Twins
are going
to the
for
left, single receiver to the right.
Ball's up in the air, and it's a diving catch.
There's
but
a flag on the play.
And that is unlucky to have not had that.
If that's a flag on the defense, which I feel like it could be a holding, that could bring up a first down for this Raiders offense.
It could give him a little bit of life. The receiver did push off that defensive player a little bit. It'd be interesting to see what the referees call here, whether it's on the defense or the offense. With 1:20 left to go.
Pass interference on the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty. That's bringing up a whole new set of first downs for this Raiders offense. 15 yards closer to the goal line.
That is what they wanted. That is what but they needed that earlier. They needed that earlier. They needed that in the third quarter. But what I like to see, and what you do like to see in these types of games, in football in general, whether it's playoffs, whether it's regular season, is teams not giving up. Teams sticking to their game plan. Teams still moving down the field. The Raiders have not given up. They've still tried. They've been hit with some costly turnovers, but they are still doing it. It's a drop ball again. It's a fumble, a snap, it's a toss.
Pass over
she
the top
gets
to number
it.
16. She gets it. She's a little bit short.
But with 3-4 Rebels players around her, she still catches the ball. That is a complete pass. They are.
I mean, there's 1:08 on the clock, and the time is still running down. Are we calling a timeout? Are we spiking the ball?
This is where exhaustion hits you when you're down and the clock is running. Getting up quickly is not.
Did he just call 2 minutes?
He must have. Our clock is very different on our broadcast here. That was a complete
We're seeing
pass.
the Raiders a little bit confused.
That is a
There's a
timeout.
timeout called by Dane.
There's nothing worse than a running back running up behind you as the quarterback going, what are we doing?
What's the time?
I believe it's 1:53 seconds.
So we got all of that.
They were running the clock real fast. I don't think they stopped it at points they were meant to. But we have 2 minutes on the clock.
That
back
was
up.
2-minute warning. He
Yes.
stopped. Yes, I did hear that correctly.
That is good. Hey, technical difficulties, they happen when you're broadcasting. They happen when you're live streaming games. Some people forget to stop the clock when they need to. That is
I mean, potentially, they could score here, go for a short kick, recover the ball, score again, and bring this game back up to almost even levels.
They could. They
could
could.
really scare this Raiders.
This Rebels team.
Rebels, yes. That team.
The Raiders could scare this Rebels team.
Ours and ours, man.
Dude,
Who
it's hard.
decided to make
They definitely could. I want to see them get a score off this ball.
Oh,
this drive.
100%.
To
They
go
need to.
all the way down the field like
They've
they
literally
have.
taken up all of the time from this fourth quarter. They have dominated this fourth quarter with this drive. So if they don't score off this, that's really going to make this offense feel just a little bit defeated.
It is, and I do think that, I mean, this Rebels defense, as great as they are,
I mean, we're on the 3-yard line. We see Amanda under center. She's
dropped back. She's looking to throw over the top, and it is a dropped ball. So many dropped catches today.
I mean, you see it when you bring the passing game into play. There is potential for drop balls, especially when we don't see it often. We don't see it a lot.
True.
We aren't great, you know. We aren't NFL level wide receivers out there catching one-handed balls. But also we're seeing good coverage by this defense. We're seeing DBs, we're seeing linebackers cover on the body, making it difficult for the catch to come down in the hands. Again, under center, handoff, fake handoff, roll out.
Oh, that is a pick!
Into the hands of Brooke Madrid. They're telling her to go all the way. They're telling her to keep going. She's got blockers in front of her. She steps out of bounds. Maybe she just doesn't have the lungs for it.
That is what a way to end that game.
There's
there is a
flags
flag
on the field.
thrown by the referee.
I assume that is flags coming on the field because of the whole team coming over onto the field to celebrate with Brooke. That's an exciting return. I really thought she was going to keep going all the way.
So did I. Would have loved to have seen a pick six. Nothing more exciting than that.
Or like a little rugby pass over to Cubis was right there next to her, running all the way.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. 23 on the Raiders.
That is an
15 yards to the end
unsportsmanlike
of the run.
conduct.
On the Raiders.
15 yards from the end of the run. That's an unfortunate call.
23 on the Raiders.
Correct. That is BK
Here
Cullen.
we see the replay of Brooke just catching that ball. The
And
whole
running.
sideline, look at them all, up on their feet, telling her to run. She's probably thinking, I don't want to run a full field, because like if that was me, I don't want to run a full field. I want to score. My lungs cannot run a full field anymore.
We see the offense take the field for the Rebels. Not much time left in this game.
Are they just going to stick
2
to a run
timeouts
game?
for the Rebels, 1 timeout for the Raiders.
They're just going to run this clock down, keep the ground game going. It's working for them. They're in this spread formation.
Rebels have not had to go to the air at all today.
I
They
have
have stuck
not seen
to their run game. That is a little
the wide
handoff to
receiver
Mac.
out wide.
25,
Good job by
good
the
job.
defense to come up and meet her at the line of scrimmage. It's a gain for 2 yards. The clock is still running.
This is where it just
But
becomes.
like you were saying, we haven't seen them go to the air. And we usually do. They do a couple of times throughout a game. It's not necessarily a go-to play for them. Which, I mean, now I don't feel like it's really necessary.
No, it's probably not necessary to kind of air out the ball now when
Little
you're,
false start,
you know.
No?
Nope, apparently
Just
not.
readjusting.
Just
And a handoff to Kiara down the middle. Again, for a gain of 3 yards to bring up a 3rd down. The clock is still running. Coming down to 1 minute left in the game.
this is where it's just clock management.
Yeah,
Run
and
the
I mean,
ball,
for the
run the
Rebels,
ball.
they don't really need to
No.
manage the clock. They just want to run the clock out. They want to stick to the ground game, keep running the ball.
Take that knee if they have to.
Yeah. I mean, the Raiders still have a couple of timeouts on their sideline, I think.
Rebels have their timeouts. Raiders do not. As
Handoff to Kiara.
Kiara runs into traffic.
Close to a 1st down.
Is that a first down?
Yeah,
They
they're
are
calling
looking to
it a
switch
4th.
out
It's a little bit short.
personnel. Nope, they are scrapping that decision as it seems to be a 4th down.
Fourth down and 1. They're waiting for the call to come in. I mean, I assume zone read. Oh, no, they were running the clock out. And
That is the Opal Bowl for 2022. The Rebels have been able to go back-to-back Opal Bowl wins.
not an easy feat to do, but they have done it.
What a season it's been. What a game it has been.
What a game.
We had 8-6 at the halftime to the Raiders, and then costly penalties, dropped balls, turnovers, missed tackles. That's what led to the Rebels being able to shut out the Raiders in the second half, as the Rebels had 3 or 4 unanswered touchdowns. I mean, that's a football game.
That
is
is a
a
football
playoff game. You love
You
to see
never
their
know.
defense step up and play the way they did and shut out the Raiders the way they did.
And I mean, we were saying all season, this Rebels team has been the team to beat. They've come in with such momentum. They've had great coaching staff. They've recruited really great over the season. They're disciplined. and it was their game to lose, and they didn't lose it, they won it.
And what an amazing feat from the coaching staff. Blake was awarded Coach of the Year from UNSW, and he has gone undefeated this season. Well done to the Rebels, because that is a feat that is hard to come by a lot of the time.
It is, to go undefeated all season. Like, you almost anticipate and feel a loss coming, and you definitely don't want it to be this game. And so coaches would have worked really hard in them during the week at training, during film sessions. Obviously, that halftime chat in the locker room was one that changed the momentum of this team, and they come out in the second half firing and just dominated, really, didn't they?
They did. Second half was all Rebels, just all over the place.
Let's not underestimate this Raiders team. You know, they were also quite a force to reckon with throughout the season. They'd only lost their games to the Rebels in the season, so you know.
And keep in mind, the last time that these two teams played in the regular season, it was only a 4-point difference in the loss for the Raiders. You're right. You cannot underestimate how the Raiders have done this season. Again, they have the amount of Outback players that the Raiders have on their team, the experience in their quarterback coming in, who is one of our fly-in, fly-out players, and Amanda, and bringing that experience.
Yeah. I mean, if you take out the little fumble turnover at the beginning of the kickoff, then, the quarterback turnover that happened right at the goal line, those tiny little plays, if you take that out of, I feel like it would have been such a different game. But once that happens, as a player myself, your head gets down a little bit, the momentum shifts, you're feeling down, you're feeling out, you feel lost. It's hard to come back from it.
It is hard to come back, and the Raiders put up a fight. It was great to see them go down the field in that
Yes.
fourth quarter. Unfortunate with the pick, but they still left what they could out on the field.
No regrets. They played well. They did the best they could. They had a couple of injuries. They were playing, tired, sore. We can see them all limping out to each other. Everyone looks like they've left it all on the field. And you know what's exciting is seeing what they're going to come back with next season. Because I assure you, they are not done. They are going to build. They are going to recruit. They're going to come back bigger and better. And I'm worried.
I wouldn't be worried. I think these two teams show what we need to do to make sure that we keep this game going, and we keep players in this game, and we look to try and bring in new players and grow these teams, because you can see when you have personnel, when you have legs, it does make it easier. Again, the addition of this season from the 5-foot players that were flying in from Victoria, Queensland, and all sorts of places to help our comp, to develop our comp. That's all I can ask for. So being able to watch these two teams play the football that they've played, they've had close games for the season, right? It wasn't a walk in the park for either one of these teams this year. There's been a lot of development in our game across the board as we implement that strong pass game that a lot of the teams brought in this year. So it's great to see where football in New South Wales and women's football in general is kind of going for us. We just want to make sure it stays there and we keep it growing in our comp, in the Queensland comp, and other comps around the country. As we saw, they had a great outing for the Outback team, and there are a lot of players that are on this field right now that were in that team, so there's a lot of experience on this side, but we just want to make sure that keeps growing and that we keep expanding this game.
We definitely do. So if you've been watching and hesitant about playing, I'm sure teams are already recruiting for next year. Reach out to a friend, reach out to anyone on Facebook, Instagram, send through a message. I'm sure we can hook you up with your local team to get you started. It's such a fun sport to play. You're not just playing with a team, you're playing with a family. Your teammates become your friends. You spend so much time with them during the season. It's just team sport. I highly recommend any team sport,
100%.
Especially this one.
Any surprises for you out of this game? We knew they were going to come in, run versus run. The Rebels, clearly their run game was just a little bit better. I would say the Raiders had a pass game that was a little bit better that they used at certain times. But any surprises out of this game for you from these two sides?
I'm surprised at, the turnovers that started the game with the Rebels. I'm surprised at how their offense started. I anticipated so much more momentum from them in that first half. But then obviously they were able to pick it back up in the second half and really drive down the field. Raiders, I mean, their passing game, those deep balls, I was expecting them. Surprised that a couple of them didn't land, but also the ones that did, great balls. What about you?
I was surprised that the Rebels didn't switch it up as much as we thought they were going to. I thought they would come in a little more passing. You know, they stuck with the one quarterback in Alia, and they used Cubis slightly more on defense, which we haven't seen the last couple weeks. I mean, Kiara, if you were picking an MVP for this game, you could pretty much just say the running back room for the Rebels.
Yeah, I'm picking Kiara all day, every day. I mean, she has been all season. Like, it's not just this game, it's the whole season. She's a standout player. She puts her whole heart on the line. She never wants to come off the field. She never looks gassed. She never looks tired. She knows exactly where she needs to be, what she needs to be doing. And she has fun doing it.
She does. I love those little spin moves. Little stiff arm off the shoulder, spin out.
You know what? I think I was talking to her one day after a game about the little spin move. She's like, I don't even realize I'm doing it. It's unintentional. It's just something that obviously comes out in her run game, and it's, you know, it works for her.
And there's a lot of applause for the Rebels as they come off the sideline. Fans would have enjoyed that game if you're here, if you're streaming. Been a heck of a football game.
It was a football game.
But that's going to be us kind of almost done. They're going to do kind of the presentation soon. Got to give a shout out to you and myself, because I feel like we did a great job. Commentating the game. Felt like we were slightly entertaining there.
Well, I hope we were.
Yeah, hopefully people enjoyed the broadcast.
Thank you all for coming out, or not coming out, but logging on.
Logging on, listening.
And
great
watch,
game of
support
football.
our sport.
And here's to kind of, you know, next year. Next year's going to be fun. I feel like there's a lot of teams that have so much potential for next year. Again, the Stars coming into our comp this year really made it entertaining.
I definitely made everyone step their game up, because the Stars come in as a dominantly passing team, which we don't see often.
All right, well, that is us done. Guys, that is the Opal Bowl 2022. Your Raiders won. As we are going to move to the presentation, we are signing off from the Opal Bowl.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
Bye.
NSW, and they will be giving out the MVP awards for the whole day. But the first MVP award, let's come up in the rounds. And all the three things that you're going to get as an MVP. With that, if you're not a Rams fan, you know what, we thank the Rams and we support the NSW experience and everything else. But the winner of this year's Opal Bowl MVP is number 13, Quentin. Dane Robinson, can you come to the mic, please? Dane Robinson. Try and do this quick because we've got the Seahawks and the Cubs for the next game at 11:30.
I'll keep this very brief. Great job by the Rebels in the second half, as usual. Great job. Congratulations. before the girls in person. We had a lot of things that weren't ideal for us. For us to get to the Opal Bowl in the first place is an achievement on its own, so well done there. Good job, Rob.
Blake Jones for the night, please.